Hey there, good morning. It's 7:30. Thanks for joining us for Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm your host, Bridgett Ellison. You're watching us streaming live on News 6 Plus and clickorlando.com. It is Tuesday, November 21st, a couple days away from Turkey Day now. And we have several things to get to, including some tips on getting that meal ready, plus some places you can pick up some free birds today. But first, let's get a check of that forecast. Meteorologist Candace Campos is standing by. And thank goodness, Candace, the weather, the fog, it's out of here. It didn't show up again today.
Yesterday was such a pain with all that fog. And a lot of people are probably heading on the roadways. You have so many people who travel east, north, southwest from here just
Oh, yeah.
just to visit family just a few hours away. But today and tomorrow, pretty busy travel days, as well as people going to work still
Oh,
because,
yeah.
like us, we are still working this
Yes.
Thanksgiving week.
Except the kids. They're at home tearing up the house.
I was just about to say, tearing up the house, Bridget. Or they're still sleeping. I think I haven't gotten
Oh,
an alert yet that,
yes.
that they're up just yet.
Hmm.
Lucky ducks. All right, let's talk about your weather forecast across the area. Today, temperatures are going to be much warmer. Bridget, we can see live look outside. A little bit of cloud cover out there. We are going to be watching kind of mix of sun and clouds for today, all ahead of our next cold front that's going to be arriving on Wednesday. That is tomorrow. Looking at our temperatures, though, if you are walking out the door or you're trying to pack up the trunk and get everybody, in the car situated with their coloring books and iPads. Temperatures are going to be in the 60s and 70s. No rain right now across the area. Throughout the next few hours, we are going to be staying near to just above average, but by about 4 or 5 o'clock, we're going to be even reaching those lower 80s. So this is going to be the big talker today across the nation. We're watching this front. It's not a big winter storm, Bridget. It's more just some scattered showers, although there is that threat for severe storms across the deep south, as far south as almost Pensacola. So again, if your travels take you there within the next 12 hours, just do be aware you will be running into some of this mess. A lot of big airport hubs are here through Charlotte and Atlanta, even all the way up into the Boston area. So as you can see here, National Outlook still bringing that front through the eastern seaboard. Again, a lot of rain and snow kind of mixed in there for the northeast throughout this afternoon. Most of that will start to push along 95 up the coast there throughout the lunchtime hour tomorrow. And then that trailing front will be bringing us some changes in the forecast. This is kind of a zoomed in look for us here in Central Florida. We're looking good today. Again, mix of sun and clouds, but the clouds will build ahead of that front on Wednesday by about 9 a.m. Could see a few sprinkles. Some of the heaviest of the rain, though, will be staying to our north. And then those scattered showers will kind of taper off, push out, and overall the modeling is actually showing more sunshine than originally thought. So we are going to be seeing more sun and much cooler weather for your Thanksgiving. So breaking it down, I know a lot of people have Friendsgivings possibly today. Rain chances are low. We're going up to about a 30 to 40% for tomorrow. Again, higher threat further north. But then once that front clears, Bridget, look at these temperatures. Highs for tomorrow could be staying in the upper 60s, basically from that stretch of Orlando to Cape Canaveral. North of that will be in the 60s. South of that will be in the 70s. But we're also looking at more rain in the forecast for your Friday, about 40%. And then we will be staying in the 70s as we head into your Saturday and Sunday. Somehow, some way, we found 24 hours to stay dry on Thanksgiving, and that's what we're doing. It's going to be a little rain on Wednesday, a little more rain on Friday, but that Thursday looking dry, looking cool. So you might be able to, maybe wear a sweater to Thanksgiving dinner,
I'm
especially if
excited about
you
that.
do dinner outside.
Oh, yes. And, when you've got an overflow crowd, everyone ends up spreading out anyway. So you've got
Yes.
people, on the patio, you got them, in the
Mm-hmm.
night, you've got people in the living room, the dining
I
room, the
love it.
family room, the kitchen. So you name it. But
That's true. And maybe even opening up the windows or at least opening up the doors
yes,
where you can get that flow of nice fresh air in place. But,
yes, because it does
the
get
nice thing is,
hot.
yes, and we'll be staying in the 70s throughout the weekend. That rain on Friday will kind of reinforce
Right.
some of that cooler air in place. So not too bad. I've had
I
some
really like it.
I've had some tough Thanksgivings where I'm like, it's gonna be wet and stormy, but
Right.
not this time. So
Right. Yeah.
I'll take it.
I think, we were conservatively looking forward to that cooler air coming in.
Hmm.
So this looks really nice. I know that weather leading into Black Friday is a bit of a concern, if people want to get out and get to where they're going
Yeah.
Some people want to get right back if they went out of town, or some people head out of town after Thanksgiving's out of the way. So it just depends. Or if you're trying to get out shopping with that 40% chance on Black Friday. So that's something
That's
to
true.
watch, I guess, too.
It is interesting though, because it looks like the travel period has kind of spread out a little bit because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are work from home now. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been hearing a lot of people traveling a few days earlier than what they typically used to do a few years back. So it's going to be interesting to see how, with times changing and technology and the work from home world, how all that's going to shift our busiest travel day
Yeah.
of the season might be a little different. You
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, all right,
Yeah.
Candace. We'll check back in with you. We'll see you on the cut ins on the air, and then I'll see you
Yeah.
at 9.
And first, another question:
Yeah.
dressing or stuffing? Never mind.
Oh my
I'm not
goodness.
starting that.
Well,
Not starting
okay.
that.
Now we talked about this earlier. It's two separate dishes.
I started her.
Respectfully, because here's my thing. I like both. It just,
Okay.
there's here's what dressing is. Dressing is the cousin of stuffing, or dressing is the marriage of cornbread and stuffing together. That's what
That
dressing is. Yes.
I might get on board with you on that one.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay,
Cuz
fine.
you can't have dressing without stuffing. You understand?
I get that.
So it's
Okay. All right. Sold.
yes.
Use that for
And you like
Thanksgiving when we have
cornbread
that debate.
and you like stuffing. So
Mash
you
them
would like
together.
dressing. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a dressing fan, even though I
What
still
about
call it stuffing.
what about the cranberries? What about that?
Jelly canned cranberries all the way.
Mhm.
Don't give me
Yes,
anything I have to
ma'am.
scoop with a spoon.
I know. Well, my brother is quite the cook, and he always talks about how easy it is to make just the cranberry sauce, from scratch. And he showed it to me, and I was so shocked. I could not believe how easy it was, but I still like my canned cranberry.
Yeah. My favorite job in the kitchen is slicing the canned
I know, it's so
cranberry. I'm like,
satisfying.
I wanna pull it out of the can.
Right.
That's my contribution
I
to my
did see a
family's.
hack where you can take it out of the can and use the apple core. Just push down, and you get
To make
perfectly,
wedges?
yes.
I'm
I
doing
know.
it.
Buy
I'm
an extra
doing it.
can just to try it out. Yeah.
Bridgett, you're dangerous. All right.
All
I
right.
started us on a producer's probably going, wrap it up. Let's
Okay.
go.
Yeah, I think Trooper Steve's waiting. Thanks, Candace.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, let's get over to Trooper Steve. We have been so happy not to see that fog back, Steve. Good morning.
Good morning, man. You guys are on it about the dressing and stuffing stuff,
You
and
know,
I'm
you
not going to
like food
even.
too.
Yeah, but my answer to both of those are I don't like either.
Really?
None of it. I think there's a taste to it, and maybe I've had the wrong stuffing
Okay.
before. I don't like that bread and the
And all the
not the
herbs.
cranberry, the herbs and the
Mm-hmm.
celery in it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Probably
I
like the
can't.
sage. Maybe you don't like sage. There's a lot of sage in
Maybe
there.
that might be
Mm-hmm.
it.
Sort of like
Camila
how
always
people have
tells
an
me I
aversion
can.
to cilantro, right?
Right, like I am a horrible, like I think I'm great at tasting something and going, "Oh, that's what this is." And Camila's always like, "No, that's strawberry. You said it was a
Ah,
grape." And so
it's all sweet to
there's
you.
a
Mm-hmm.
flavor yeah, there's a flavor component there that I'm just not digging. I would normally say we can go out to the traffic stuff, but we can't at the moment because I'm waiting on
Okay.
engineer. My computer just went
Ah,
kaput. And
okay.
we could talk about, though, there are obviously some of the stuff we need to be aware of over the next few days, and that's going to be the random traffic spikes. And because this
Mm-hmm.
morning, Bridget, if we look downtown, there wasn't a car on the road.
Yeah,
And
it
I
looks
think a
like the
lot of
drive
people
times
need
are pretty good right now if you
drive
want to head
times are
out.
great right now. Yeah, if hitting the road right now between now and noon, you will not experience anybody on the road. This
Right.
afternoon, there's going to be spikes and hits when
Mm-hmm.
people have set up their windows to get to where they're
Mm-hmm.
going. But that's going to happen 12 p.m. and after. People need to get ready for that. Make sure that they have everything in their car that they're required to have, all their
Right.
documents if they're going on a large trip. And then, of course, making sure they just check the tires. It's so
Right.
easy. It's going to be the
Mm-hmm.
biggest problem that most people experience out on the road is going to be tire malfunction and just simply making sure you got good tires. Not
Right.
saying go get brand new sets today or some expensive stuff, but you could put a
Check the
generic
pressure. Yeah.
brand new tire on your car.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You don't want to blow out there. There's going to be extra road rangers, all that fun stuff. But of course, if you can avoid the issues, take the
Right.
steps to avoid the problems.
Right. And you talked about getting pulled over this morning on Ask Trooper Steve. And so we talked about, like, sort of having everything handy as well, because you just never know if you don't want to be stuck digging through the glove box for that registration
Yeah,
and the insurance proof and all that.
quick little Ziploc bag or an
Mm-hmm.
envelope. Nowadays you can show stuff on your phone,
Yep.
but I tell you, people get nervous. People forget how to log into their applications when they're on the side of the road. They get the
Oh, yeah.
shakes
Oh,
over
yeah.
a little traffic stop. So I tell people, envelope or a plastic bag, and keep copies of your license, your registration, your insurance in there, and
Mm-hmm.
write on the thing, keep in vehicle documents,
Mm-hmm.
and just keep that in your glove box when traveling.
And if you're
Some people
renting,
don't want to
like
do
you're going
that.
to rent, right?
It,
So,
big
yeah.
time. Have that rental agreement there. Have your insurance available, and maybe an emergency contact. You may be, if unfortunately we have crazy crashes, you could become incapacitated. We've done so many stories over the past couple of weeks on our investigators doing stories about license plates and stuff. We've focused on
Mm-hmm.
traffic a lot, and people need to have at least that in the back of their head.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, second biggest travel Thanksgiving since 2020.
Oh,
Like, that's a big deal.
right. And
So
we talked
yeah,
about
it's
how
going to be a
gas
lot
is
of
at a
people out
good
there.
price right now too, which is a little bit unusual because usually we see a spike around the holidays and stuff. So,
Yeah, I paid 2.98 to fill up my car
yeah,
the other day, and I was like, man, I
I
need to
know.
treat myself today
I
because I
know,
have a few
right?
extra bucks.
I know. I got an extra hot dog at Costco. It was $2.95 a gallon. But anyway, it'll
Oh
be
man,
interesting to see what it looks like 24 hours from now when we chat tomorrow morning. Or are you headed out? Are you going to be here tomorrow?
I will not be here
Okay.
tomorrow, so I am done for the rest of the week. My crazy self has decided to do a little bit of road
Well,
traveling
you can
on the
stream in
holidays,
from
so
the road trip.
hey, maybe tomorrow, depending on where my schedule is and
Okay.
what I'm
Nah,
at, I'll
you're
shoot
off.
you a text. We'll
Okay.
see how things go.
All
We'll do
right.
some
Okay.
live streams from crazy Thanksgiving drives.
Okay, okay. Not, I'm not holding you to it. I'm just an idea. Just an
All
idea. I
right,
would
all
love to
right, all
see
right.
all the ladies and the girls. So, it's up to
Yes.
you. It's up to you. So,
Gotcha,
but yeah,
gotcha. I'll
safe
definitely have
travels.
pictures for you though.
Okay.
All right,
All
Bridget.
right. Bye. Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving. All right. We do want to get to some news before we get to some of the other Thanksgiving stories that we want to tell you about this morning. Unfortunately, a really, really tough story about a fire in Daytona Beach overnight. We have learned that a mother and one of her children died in this fire. Um, Two other children were hurt and taken to the hospital. Our Ezzy Castro has been out there reporting on this and getting updates all morning. It is devastating because, on top of all this, fire officials are saying that this is being investigated as a homicide. So that is just more tragedy on top of all of this. This happened just before midnight at Countryside Apartments along Bevel Road. And again, fire officials say two children, a 5 and 6-year-old, were hurt. They were transferred to Shands Hospital in Gainesville. And a Daytona police officer was also treated for smoke inhalation out there. And the state fire marshal determined that this fire possibly set on purpose. Police calling this a homicide investigation. And my producer Kathleen was just telling me before we started that Kathleen, we learned that investigators say that the mother who died in this had stab wounds. So more details are coming out about this, but it is just horrible news to share with you this morning. But we'll have continuing coverage as the officials out there give out more information in Daytona Beach about this fatal fire being investigated as a homicide. So keep it here, as well as on News 6 at 9 and clickorlando.com for updates on that throughout the day. There's also been an arrest in a street racing case that we've been telling you about. This happened near a school. A man was arrested, accused of racing his car through this Orlando neighborhood. There were kids nearby. It happened over the weekend near Rock Lake Elementary School along Tampa Avenue. And as News 6's Troy Campbell explains in this, police say this man shouldn't have been driving anyway.
We're very, very sensitive and passionate about where we live.
Paula Cottrell says she moved into her home along North Tampa Avenue more than a decade ago. She says Orlando police regularly patrol the stretch of roadway near Rock Lake Elementary.
They do their part. Does it always work? Maybe, maybe not. But at the end of the day, they do care about us here and put up the precaution signs to let people know don't go through the residential neighborhoods if you're not a local.
Mr. Dronell?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
27-year-old Dronell Anderson went before an Orange County judge following his arrest Sunday. Orlando police booked him on felony charges of racing, reckless driving, leading officers on a pursuit, and driving on a suspended license. Orlando police wrote in their report that they clocked the vehicle going 50 miles an hour right here in this 30-mile-an-hour zone. Neighbors who live along this road say reckless driving is an issue on weekends when there's events at nearby Camping World Stadium.
It's 2 weekends in a row we got to deal with the loud music. It was an accident right here in front of my house that weekend of reckless driving.
The officer wrote he heard the vehicle Anderson was driving make the noise of a revving engine and observed a vehicle traveling north towards me. The headlights went up quickly towards the sky. I heard the wheels spin. The vehicle flew past me. However, OPD says the driver refused to stop and kept driving at a high rate of speed, so unmarked units began to follow. Anderson was taken into custody after he parked at a house along Forest City Road. OPD says Anderson's driver's license was permanently revoked last month, following a fleeing to elude conviction in July of last year. In Orlando, Troy Campbell, Getting Results News 6.
All right, we are 2 days away from Thanksgiving now. It is Tuesday, and so we are getting ready with all of this meal prep. And, for some people, putting all that food on the table is a real challenge with the budget, especially right now. Everyone's feeling a pinch from some of the higher prices and, some of the job losses out there and just some of the, the common struggles that many families are facing with finances and unexpected expenses. So, PennDOS Law Firm, once again, giving away turkeys. This is the 15th annual turkey giveaway at PennDOS Law, and it is beginning at 8:30. But because this is so popular, of course, there's the line. The line has been building up since early this morning when we were doing the morning news, and when we ended the morning show about 45 minutes ago, there were more than 100 people already in line. But everyone should get a turkey because they hand out so many every year. This has been a tradition, again, dating back 15 years now. PennDOS Law getting ready to hand out hundreds of turkeys, and they'll be starting again at 8:30 at the law offices. PennDOS Law is along Colonial Drive in Orlando. If you're near there, want to stop by there. The line, again, already there, but on a first come first serve basis. But once they start, it should move along pretty well. And if you can't make it over there, maybe you can swing by Exploria Stadium, because the 8th annual Thanksgiving meal giveaway is happening at Exploria with Orlando City Soccer and the Pride, as well as Commissioner Regina Hill and the Orlando City Foundation. They gave away thousands of meals last year and hope to do so again this year. And that, again, starts at 9:30 at Exploria Stadium and goes until noon. But it's not just a turkey. You're getting side items, too. So swing by and get that if you have time. It certainly helps out if you are really struggling with these grocery prices and trying to get all this stuff lined up for Thanksgiving, and maybe you have a lot of people to feed, and it is expensive. But, one thing we talked about is getting that turkey ready for the table. So we'll get to that and a little bit more about prepping the meal when we come back right after this. Back to Breakfast with Bridgett. We have more news to get to for you. You'll want to check your baby medicine cabinet this morning. There is a consumer alert involving a very common medicine here from Kinder Farms. Is the infant's pain and fever reliever. This is Kinder Med recalling the pain and fever medication, both the kid and infant formulas. Now, the company says there's acetaminophen instability, which means it may not be as potent as it was when it was made. So that means, it may not work. And, parents and guardians out there know sometimes, you do give the kids meds and it seems like they're not really making a difference. And so with this one in particular by KinderMed, again, they're recalling that because they say that the acetaminophen may not be as effective. So stop using that immediately and return it for a refund because, these medicines do add up when you start picking up several items to stock up the medicine cabinet. We also want to talk about these Thanksgiving preps as well as what to do after the meal has been served. Our Crystal Moyer will have more on this. Thanksgiving just days away now, and after the feast, there's leftovers, but I recommend getting lots of to-go boxes so you can get some of it out of the house when your guests leave. But it is important to store things quickly and correctly. So she has more on the right way to handle all the leftovers so no one gets an upset stomach.
And tasty beyond that one joyous meal by following some tips from Consumer Reports food and health experts.
Foodborne illness-causing bacteria can grow on our favorite leftovers in just a few minutes, so you really need to get everything refrigerated within 2 hours.
When it's time to clear the table and pack up leftovers, instead of putting the whole dish in the fridge, it's better to separate food into smaller portions to help speed up cooling. And make sure to use storage containers that are tight enough to keep air out. Consumer Reports looked at silicone bags that you can wash and reuse. These W&P Porter bags are dishwasher safe and take up very little storage space. But Consumer Reports says take a look around your home and reuse those mason jars and other food-safe containers before you buy more stuff. And if you're not going to eat it within 3 to 4 days, freeze it.
If you want to freeze some of your favorite foods, the best thing you can do is get all of the air out. For me, there's nothing better at that than a vacuum sealer. So you can actually fit more food into the freezer, but you can also extend the life of frozen food up to a year or 2 instead of just a few months.
This Hamilton Beach NutriFresh is easy to use. It was also one of the fastest vacuum sealers Consumer Reports tested, which you'll appreciate if you're sealing multiple bags of food.
All right, Santa, bring me a vacuum sealer. That's it. Also, some silicone storage bags, right? I don't have those. And I need more glass storage dishes. Those are always good to have. So, do you ever feel like you need a nap after those big meals like Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the holidays? Well, experts say don't blame the turkey for your so-called food coma. According to a sleep specialist, turkey does contain what you've probably heard of, tryptophan, an amino acid that produces, well, it doesn't produce, but it triggers your body making serotonin, which of course regulates your sleep cycle and helps you feel relaxed. But other foods also contain it, like cheese, eggs, chicken, fish. So, it's in a lot more things. But experts say if you just wanted to blame turkey for feeling sleepy, about 8 pounds of turkey would be needed to put you at a level of this tryptophan to put you into a deep sleep or a food coma. I think the food coma happens just because of the blood sugar, jostling around from all the things you're eating, as well as just being so full that it just makes you so tired to digest all that food. But, we talked about those turkeys. If you're picking up a turkey, if you have a turkey in the freezer, now is the time to get it into the fridge side of the refrigerator so that it can start thawing. And if you have more questions about your bird, guess what? The Butterball hotline is still out there. I just checked. And you can call 1-800-BUTTERBALL for all your questions. No judgment zone. You're safe with them. Give them a call, 1-800-BUTTERBALL. And I might have to call, but I know I do need to put my turkey from the freezer to the fridge today, because if it's between 12 and 16 pounds, you are supposed to move it over today. Today is the day. So this is the pregame. Now, coming up a little bit later on News 6 at 9, we'll continue discussing safety in schools. Yesterday, Trooper Steve talked about some of the crisis intervention teams in Osceola County. So today, he'll talk to a psychologist and social worker about what they do on a daily basis to care for the student body. Also, we'll look back at serving those who served, the impact it's having on veterans in our community. And we'll get results for dinner with, this is something different, cheeseburger quesadillas, as we get ramped up to Thanksgiving, you're thinking like, what can I have different besides like that type of food, because that's what we're having on Thursday. So we'll get to that recipe a little bit later. And hey, we want to know if you have any questions or if there's something you'd like to see on Breakfast with Bridget. So give me a comment on Facebook. Head over to Bridgett Ellison News 6. Let me know what you'd like to see or hear about more on Breakfast with Bridget. We'd love to hear from you. You can also email me anytime at bellison@wkmg.com. That's BELLISON at WKMG.com. So hope to hear from you soon. It is 7:55 on this Tuesday. So we'll see you back here at 7:30 for Breakfast with Bridget. Make it a great day.